Welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. Thank you for joining me. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind you guys that I have a brand new channel called The Disturbing Illusion, where we are going to expose, and we do expose, the left versus right paradigm, political dog and pony circus under the two-party uniparty big top. If you want to join that, I'm going to put the link in the chat room for you. Thanks to everybody who took their time out of this Saturday afternoon to be here. What I wanted to talk about with this was this video right here from LAC Audit. LAC Audit has 9.47 thousand subscribers and really deserves more because this guy is articulate. He is respectful. Audit has 9.47. He's polite. And the audits are always powerful because he's knowledgeable, and knowledge is power. When you have that kind of power and you wield that kind of power, cops don't like it. Now we're going to deal with two seemingly good-natured cops here, but you can never let that suspend your knowledge or your critical thinking. Never think that a smiling cop or a nice cop or a pleasant cop is a good cop, because nice, smiling, pleasant tyranny is still tyranny. Let's go ahead and check this out. I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to make some comments as we go, and let's go ahead and get started.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
I got a call for a suspicious car that's been here
for
some time, and I'm here to check it out, make sure everything's good.
Hey, before we start, can I get a name and badge number?
Sure. Officer Hill, badge number 548.
And what department are you from?
Huntsville.
And where's that located?
Here.
No, the address.
90 North Broadway.
90 North Broadway, okay. So you said you got a call about a suspicious car. And what else?
Suspicious vehicle, and that's it.
Okay.
That's been parked here for quite some time. I'm just here to check it out.
Okay, officer. Like I told the individual who approached me, I'm parked legally. I'm not doing anything wrong, and I'd just like to be left alone.
Okay.
Because, as you know, we're American citizens and we don't have to explain ourselves to people what we're doing if we're not breaking the law, right?
Right.
So that's all I told the individual, and quite frankly, man, I just like to be left alone to be a free citizen.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right, I just got to get... Is this your car?
I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm going to invoke my Fourth Amendment right. On me, yeah.
All right. Can I get your name, sir?
You don't have to answer any questions. Yeah.
Okay.
This is not a Terry stop, as you know.
Yeah, I know. It's just I'm conducting an investigation.
No, I know, but still.
I got to get information on who I'm talking to.
No, you don't.
But I got to get information. They frame it as an imperative. It's, in other words, it's almost like this isn't just part of my job. This is what you have to do. I have a duty to get your information, and you have an obligation to submit to my edict. That's how they frame it. Now, he's doing it with a pleasant demeanor. He's doing it with a smile on his face, but this is still an attempt to bring tyranny into the life of an American who hasn't done anything wrong. We've already established that a crime hasn't been committed. He's not parking illegally. Somebody might be uncomfortable that he's parked out in front of their house in their neighborhood, and I understand that. And it sounds like the person confronted them and wasn't satisfied with the interaction and decided to take it one step further and thought it would be a good idea to interject men with badges and uniforms and guns into the equation. That's never a good idea. So let's go ahead and keep on going with this. Again, this is LAC Audits. I'll give you the link at the end of this.
Brong v. Texas states that just because you got a call that didn't give you any probable cause or reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime, you don't have the right to identify anyone.
Okay.
So, that's case law.
All right. Well, what I'll say is, yeah, you're parked legally. Just, you're fine to do whatever you please. Okay.
So then, okay. So, like you said, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Well, why would you?
Now, keep that in mind. You're not parked illegally, and you're fine to do whatever you please. Well, if I'm not parked illegally, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not committing a crime, and I'm fine to do anything that I please, then why is this guy going to say later that you're detained? What is the purpose for the detainment? In other words, I'm basically arresting you and your freedom right now, and you're not free to go. The man with the gun says you're not free to go. And always keep in mind, anytime you're dealing with a law enforcement officer like this, you're dealing with the implied threat of bodily injury, of force, of coercion. If you're not free to go, then you're not free on American soil. And this happens all the time, guys. And it happens primarily to people who don't have the wisdom, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the ability to articulate, the Articles of Freedom and the Bill of Rights to these cops, and they get themselves in trouble. They keep on talking, and then they let themselves get intimidated into giving an ID or submitting to an illegal arrest.
Say that you have to get the ID of everyone in the car when you know that that's against the law.
I
to
tell
identify
everyone
someone.
the same thing when I'm conducting an
Is
investigation.
that common
I like
practice?
Is that what
Is
I
that
do?
common practice? Yeah. Like,
Yeah. If
okay.
I'm conducting an investigation, I'd like to.
Oh, I tell everyone that. I coerce everyone, every single person I meet. It's kind of like a policy that I have. I'm not treating you any different than I treat everybody else. In other words, the tyranny I'm trying to bring into your life, I bring into other people's lives all the time, and they don't have a problem. They give me their ID. They submit to my edicts. Why aren't you submitting?
Get the name of everyone that I'm talking to.
Okay. It's not
Just like
optional.
Just like how you asked my name and everything.
You're a public official. I'm a private citizen.
I know, but I'm saying, you know how you like to speak
Yeah.
with my name and everything. I like to do the same thing.
And you're respectful of people who don't want to give their names, correct? That's what. Okay, good. Well then,
Yeah,
we're good.
I mean,
then.
you're not breaking any laws. So.
Perfect. Yeah. I would appreciate it if you let her know that I'm not breaking any law, and them also. Apparently, they feel that because you're parked in front of their house, that they own this property and no one else can park here.
Right.
So yeah.
And like I said, you're parked legally.
Yeah, exactly. Look what Dana says there. Common practice is lies and coercion. If your practice is lies and coercion, and the profession that you've chosen is to lie and coerce people, then if you're a person of integrity, you never would have found that line of work in the first place. And let's say you found it not being a person of integrity, and then you came into integrity, you can't keep that job, man. You can't continue to do this if that's your practice.
What I will suggest, and you don't have to, is we have a boat ramp, we have a park. If you would like to go park there, I know you can park here. That way people don't keep calling you and say, hey, this car's suspicious.
That's a good suggestion, but a better suggestion would be just educating the citizens that people have the right to park on the public street and shouldn't have to go to boat ramp just because they're uncomfortable. That would be the legal and wiser approach.
That's why I'm not making you leave.
I know. I just didn't like that suggestion, just leaving from here because she's uncomfortable, going somewhere else at a boat ramp. I want to be parked legally where it can be.
Yep.
And if they're uncomfortable, that's unfortunate. That's on them for not knowing the law.
I got you.
Right? That's not on me.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't do it uncomfortable, man. I try to work with the law.
All right.
So,
thanks, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Leon. As this guy walks away, LAC Audit puts his phone outside of the car, and then you can hear what the, I think it's the neighbor, maybe the person whose house he's parked in front of. You can hear what she says here in a second.
I want the card number, so I could probably get a conversation between the two of them. If they come back, I'm going to press the card number.
Stop. Take pictures. What are you taking pictures for?
Now, she doesn't have any problem with the police dash cam taking video. She doesn't have any problem with the body cams taking video, but she has a problem with another person parked out in front of her house. And again, guys, I understand the concern of somebody parking in front of your house, but because we live in the information age, one of the last things that you want to do is add to a problem by calling men with guns who routinely abuse Americans who have done nothing wrong. A lot of times these checks, these welfare checks, hey, I need you to check. Somebody's parked in front of my house. A lot of times it ends bad with a person being tased, a person being caged, a person being eliminated. And that's the kind of thing that we don't need more of in America. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this here. There's a lot of dead space. And then we got Davenport coming up to the vehicle.
How you doing, sir?
Hello, sir.
Are you?
I'm not going to answer any questions. Before we start, can I get your name and badge number?
Davenport 519.
Okay,
So here's where we're at.
Uh-huh.
In New Jersey.
Here's where we're at. That's another term for here's the deal. Here's what we got going on. Let me lay down the law for you.
Jersey or
Yes.
any state, you have to provide your name and information during an investigation or even a motor vehicle stop. Okay.
Okay.
I know the RO of the cars. That's all I'm trying to confirm is that's who you are, so we can get out of here.
So you're saying in an investigation, I have to legally provide my name,
Yes,
and if I consult my attorney, they'd say the same.
correct.
And that's not true. Do you suspect me of committing a crime? Let's start with that. RAS. We need RAS, right?
Okay.
RAS, reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. Do you suspect me of committing a crime? Did someone call and specifically say that I committed a crime?
There's nothing. I don't think there. I mean, if you talk to a lawyer, if you talk to a law enforcement agent, one of the things that they'll tell you is one of the worst things that you can do is talk to a cop. When a cop's around, just keep your mouth shut. Now, there are ways that you can talk to a cop that's educational. It's good for the audience. It's good for you. It's good for the person that's with you. And it may even sink down and be good for this cop. But, as a general rule, unless you don't know, if you don't know how to talk to cops, don't open your mouth. And if you say you're going to be silent, then do what you said you were going to do and be silent. I don't have a problem with people talking to cops if they know how to talk to cops. Because remember, a cop is just a human being like you and I are. One of the things, we want them to come to the knowledge of the truth so they can stop abusing Americans. We want cops to be on our side. We want, if the S hits the fan, we want these people to protect and defend rights. I mean, if there was one job for cops, it's to protect and defend your right to be silent, your right to freedom of press, your right to freedom of speech. If they were going to do anything, that's what they would do. They have one job to do. The problem is what they end up doing is they enforce laws, they enforce feelings, they trample your rights. They conspire against rights under the color of law. There's a whole bunch of things that cops do that are bad. But like I said, as a general rule, it's good not to talk to cops. But if you can talk to cops, if you know how to do it, it can be a really good educational experience for a lot of people, in my opinion.
I'm just asking you.
Specifically, what crime would that be?
You tell me.
Well,
You were here. Someone called you for me.
Stating that you were sitting out in front of the house
Correct.
for several hours.
Is that
And
a
that's what
crime?
we're just trying to find out what's going on because we had a house in this area that
Has nothing to do with me. Is that a crime,
I
though?
can't associate that. All I'm trying to do is get you out of here so we all can go about our way.
But do I have a Fourth Amendment right? Can you answer that?
What would that be, Tim?
You tell me. You're the officer. You know what a Fourth
And I'm
Amendment
saying
is,
this
right?
doesn't violate that Fourth
It
Amendment
does.
right.
No, if you force me to identify, it does.
Well, because you're driving a motor vehicle.
I'm not driving a motor vehicle. My vehicle is parked.
So you're still occupying a motor vehicle.
I cannot.
So he's lying. This cop is trying to intimidate this guy. This guy is pulling up lies. He's using coercive techniques to try to get this guy to let go. The whole thing is geared toward, and it's wittingly or unwittingly, it doesn't matter. When they put on that uniform, they've become something other than you in their minds. They believe that they have more rights than you. They believe that uniforms and badges and utility belts grant extra rights, that they come with the authority of the state, that they have authority that you don't have, that they can do to you what you can't do to other people. So there's this whole belief structure. And that's why we go over these videos, is because it's important for people to understand that this person, I don't care what kind of clown costume he's wearing. I don't care if he calls himself a politician or a governor or a president or a law enforcement officer. He's just an individual like you are. He doesn't have more rights than you have. So he doesn't have a right to do what this person is doing. What should have happened is if that person called on this guy, LAC audit parked in front of the house, the 911 operator should have been educated to say, okay, let me just ask you. You said he's been sitting out in front of your house for a couple hours. Has he committed a crime? Does it look like he's about to commit a crime? Does he look like he's a danger to himself or to others? And if so, please articulate that, and then we'll see what we can do about this. Otherwise, is he properly parked? Is he blocking the street? Is he harassing you and your kids? If the answer is no, then I'm not calling men with guns to go out there, because that can be a super dangerous situation, ma'am.
I'm with a
can
parked
operate.
vehicle. I can operate,
That
but I'm
you can
not.
operate, but it still is the same.
It's not the
You
same.
you have the right to operate it on
Okay.
a public street.
But can I commit a moving violation while parking?
No, but you can't commit
So-
a parking
So,
violation.
am I committing a parking violation?
I don't know yet because I don't know if you're the registered owner of this
I'm
vehicle.
going to invoke my fifth.
The reason I'm harassing you is that I can buy some time to determine why I'm harassing you. That's literally what he's saying. If you want to boil down his actions into simple words in a simple sentence, the reason I'm harassing you is so I can figure out why I'm harassing you. The reason I pulled you over, why'd you pull me over, officer? Well, the reason I pulled you over is so I could figure out why I pulled you over. Now that I have you pulled over, I'm going to go ahead and conduct a fishing expedition. That is completely in violation of you have the right to be secure in your person, while the guy with the gun is out there trying to make you insecure in your person. He's doing the exact opposite of the thing that he said he was going to do.
I
Amendment
don't
right.
know if you have a driver's license.
I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent without a lawyer present to answer any questions.
While remaining silent.
Sure,
While remaining silent.
sure.
I just need you to provide me your proper driving documentation.
I'm not going to.
This is just freaking, this is insane. This is America. We should look at this as such a foreign action on American soil. What do you mean? What do you just, both you and your buddy have already admitted that no crime was committed. You're not doing anything wrong. You try to get him to think that, you got to give your ID because you're in a vehicle. You didn't pull the guy over. He didn't commit a traffic violation. Now, they'll look for a traffic violation probably when he pulls away. Oh, man, maybe his license plate isn't illuminated properly. Maybe one of his brake lights are out. Maybe his headlights are too dim. Maybe he's got his brights on. We're going to find some reason to pull him over. Maybe his window tint is too dark. Just a plethora of reasons they can use to justify an offense against you.
Provide any documents since I didn't break
You
any
definitely
laws.
have to provide a
I
driver's
am not
license,
going to provide any documents since I didn't
registration,
break
and
any
the
laws.
insurance for the vehicle.
At this point in time, I'm going to remain silent.
Okay.
Now, notice how their whole demeanor has changed. Not only Hill here in the background, but also Davenport here in the foreground. They came up as kind of nice guys. Like, it sounds like they have good intentions. Let me tell you something about good intentions and how dangerous they are. Daniel Webster said, good intentions will always be pleaded for every assumption of authority. It's hardly too strong to say that the Constitution was designed to guard against the dangers of good intentions. There are men in all ages who mean to govern well, but they mean to govern. Another word for govern is control. They promise to be good masters, but they mean to be your masters. Even if they have good intentions, those good intentions can turn into evil really, really quickly.
We're kind of impasse here. And I'm trying to make this as easy for everybody as possible. I get your frustration. I get it. I'm at the same level.
Listen,
honestly.
the next step is litigation if you violate my rights. And on the oath, you're going to have to answer these questions in front of a jury, okay? I'm not going to ask any questions moving forward, okay? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent
So let me
without
get
the
this straight.
presence of an
You're
attorney.
not going to provide a driver's license, registration, or
Do you suspect me
insurance
of committing
information.
a crime or a moving violation?
I can't determine that.
So
until I
the
determine
answer is no.
if your driver's license is
Do
valid.
you suspect me of committing
You're
a
saying
crime
that. I
or a
can't
moving
guarantee that
violation?
until I can provide the documentation.
Do you suspect me of committing a crime or a moving violation? Yes or no?
I don't know yet.
So you don't know.
No,
So
because I can't provide
do your
proper
investigation.
documentation.
Talk to whoever you have to talk to.
Which we
Review-
have. And the
review
final
your-
step here
and
is
what
to make
did
sure you
they
have a
say?
valid license.
No, you don't get to go in the place determining who.
I do, because you
I'm
got
not
here
even going to
somehow.
speak anymore. Did
got-
you
got
see me?
these points,
Did you
right?
see me arrive here?
Huh?
Did you see me drive
The
here?
neighbors did.
But did you? Are they police
didn't
officers?
Yeah, if you, Mike Hates Pig says you invoke the Fifth and zip it. If you have invoked the Fifth, you don't keep talking. If you have sat there and you said, hey, I invoke my right to be silent. Thank you, Jabro. I appreciate that. If you invoke your right to be silent, then the next step is to be silent and then to keep silent.
Too. It doesn't matter.
All right, listen.
You got here-
Because honestly, guys, think about it. If you say you're going to be silent and you're not, then you've reduced your own credibility. And it's a thing that shouldn't happen. And it was your own making. You're the one who did it. You don't have, if you don't want to be silent, then don't invoke your right to be silent.
somehow, right?
Supervisor, please.
I am. It's right here.
You're a
That's why I'm here.
supervisor, please.
Yes.
You're a supervisor.
No, that's it. This is me.
Fifth Amendment.
Okay.
I invoke my Fifth. I invoke my Fourth. And I invoke my First Amendment right also. Can I get a card number, Hill?
Hill,
Yes. Can I get a card number, please?
a CAD number?
Yes. Call number, card number,
Yeah,
incident number,
Yeah, you'll be
whatever
able
you
to.
guys call it.
you'll be able to. We'll give it to you.
Can I get it now?
You can get it now.
Yes, please. Thank you. I appreciate
Can I
it.
get your ID?
No, sir.
Okay.
They're still trying to extract his ID from him. It's almost like they can't live unless they make you insecure in your person. And one other thing, I think that cops feel the need to justify their existence by continuing to harass people that they know aren't committing crimes because they feel like the person who called them, the person who called us, and then we took all the trouble and the resources to spend the gas and the time that the taxpayers are paying us to do. We feel obligated to make it look like we're actually needed in society. It's almost like they feel obligated to prove to society that society needs them when nothing could be further from the truth. We don't need an armed band of domestic terrorists, a standing army that the forefathers warned us against, to pretend that they're there to keep us safe when all they're doing is harassing people and trying to let them intimidate them and coerce them into letting go of their rights. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments.
What is your RAS?
Yeah, that's
Or
a good.
My reasonable.
Your RAS.
That's a good point. That's a good way to put it. ID vampires. They just want to suck you dry.
Articulable suspicion
Of a crime.
No. So this is what we're trying to explain to you. We get called here for
I
a
know
suspicious
how it
vehicle.
works. Okay, this is not.
You obviously don't because you're not
I
giving
don't.
us your
Okay.
ID.
Okay. Can I get the card number?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not going to speak to you either. I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right.
Sounds good. County, can I get a case number?
Remember, I told you. Are you familiar with the Bill of Rights?
Forward to the 34th Hill.
Firm.
I'm just going to fast forward this
Fifth
little
Amendment right to remain silent. Desecuring their effects. Okay. On a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
Yep.
Okay. You're aware of that. Thanks
Yep.
for putting it on record.
You're welcome.
Remember, I told you Brown v. Texas. Okay. So remember that case law.
Okay.
Just in case.
Here's why I don't like going to case law, because when you cite a case law, when we already have a supreme law of the land, which is part of the Bill of Rights, which is the Fourth Amendment, to be secure in your person, basically you have the right, the unalienable right, not because our forefathers 148 years ago wrote some cool looking words down on neat pieces of parchment, and then they decided to preserve it for all of humanity in the National Archives in Washington's District of Criminals. You have rights because you're a human being. You have the same rights that this cop right here has. You have the right to anonymity. One of the most powerful things that you have, one of the most effective and awesome things that you have, is your right to be anonymous, to go through this life without answering to anybody, without identifying yourself. That's one of the most powerful things that you have in your arsenal as a human being. And one of the first things these cops try to do is they try to pry you away from that powerful arsenal that you have of being anonymous. And when they can do that to you, then they've demoralized you. Once you're demoralized, they have you exactly where they want you, and that is beneath them. When you answer to them and you obey their commands, you've become submissive to them, and that's exactly what they want. This is a psychological power play. Every time, bar none, you get into a discussion with a law enforcement officer like these people right here, you are involved in a psychological power play where they want you to know that they control you and that you are subservient to them. That's the whole reason for the ID. Now, they may not be able to articulate that, and maybe that never even entered their minds, but that's the way they act. And that is the culture they're involved in. Culture. They're a part of a cult. C-U-L-T. They just follow orders. And that's what cultists do. They follow orders because they're conformists and not moralists. A moralist does what is right regardless of what he's told. A conformist, like a police officer, does what he's told regardless of what is right. He doesn't consider right or wrong. He's just following orders. He's just doing his job. He'll tell you that he didn't make the laws. He's just enforcing them, with the, highlighting the word force in that word. Why? Because government is not eloquence. It's not reason. It's not intelligence. It's not articulation. It's not wisdom. It is force. And like fire, it's a dangerous servant and a fearful master. And that's what these people right here want to do. They want to be that fearful master. They want you to view them as the governors, as the controllers, as the enforcement class. And it is a class warfare. When they approach you, you're going to submit to me. And oh, by the way, I have this excuse called, look at this right here. It's called traffic law. And traffic law allows me to suspend your unalienable rights. And then when you submit to that, you've actually not only done yourself and your family a great disservice, you've violated all of humanity. Because anytime we submit to force and violence and coercion and threats, and I get it, sometimes you have to cut your losses. And sometimes there are certain hills that it's probably not prudent to die on. Maybe you're making your way home from work and you could be facing 2 nights in jail, but you've got kids at home that you've got to take care of. And if you're not there, something bad could happen to them. So you got to cut your losses. I get it. People are, we're all on a journey. And we all, nobody's walking in your steps. Nobody knows what's going on with you. But I'm just talking about, generally speaking, when we continue to submit to these people who are saying there are protectors and servants when really they're thugs, when we submit to them, we do all of humanity a grave disservice by letting go of our anonymity, by allowing them to make us insecure in our persons. If this doesn't make sense to you, and I could say it a little bit more clearly because I'm not the most articulate dude, but the way I see it, there is a psychological warfare. There's a psychological operation going on anytime we're involved in a conversation or an interaction with a state functionary, which is exactly what cops are. They serve as functions and functionaries of the state to enforce their will upon you without your consent. That's what rape is. You're forcing yourself on a woman without her consent. That's what murder is. You're forcing yourself into somebody's life to eliminate somebody's life without their consent. That's what theft is. You're breaking into that shop or that home and stealing other people's property without their consent. Now, the cops have come up with a legal way to murder, a legal way to rob you. And they've called it traffic law. And they say it's okay to do that because our politicians said we could do that. And this is what we're standing behind. That is a person who has zero, not 1%, not 0.5%, zero integrity. And that's why I have this channel. And that's why a whole lot of other auditors are out there. The auditors who are doing a good job, the auditors who are knowledgeable, the auditors who have painstakingly made it to where they can articulate what's going on, the articles of freedom, for example. The good auditors out there, the people who have these channels, want to change the world for the better. And they're not just doing it for themselves and their families, they're also doing it for that cop and his family, even though he doesn't know it. It's like, you know what? I'm standing on my rights for you. I'm resisting your unlawful tyrannical edict for you too. That's how broad this is. That's how all-encompassing it is. That's how important these traffic stops are. Every single one of them is an opportunity to educate the public and to sensitize them to unalienable rights, rights that weren't given to you and rights that cannot be legitimately taken from you, even though these guys attempt to do it all the time. Okay, so let's get back to the video.
This is litigation. I've directed you exactly to the case law that governs this. Brown v. Texas.
I kind of lost the plot there. That's why I don't like Brown v. Texas. That's why I don't like Supreme Court cases, because if we have a supreme law of the land, then why do we need other laws layered on top of it? That's why I can't stand any gun law. I can't stand background checks. We have shall not be infringed. 4 words that a child can understand. Shall not be infringed. Actually, it's shall not be infringed. Go home, pound sand, government. No, I don't need gun safety regulation. No, I don't need anti-gun violence regulation. No, I don't need your euphemisms. I already have shall not be infringed. There is no qualification on what firearms you can or can't own. Doesn't exist. So stop trying to layer laws on something that's already the supreme law of the land, because then in turn you make Brown v. Texas the supreme law when, hey, guess what? I have the right to be secure in my person's houses, papers, and effects, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, specifically describing the place to be searched or the persons or things to be seized. You got to get a warrant, and you have to have probable cause, ... that a crime has been committed, not might be committed, because then that goes to subjectivity. You need something objective. Give me probable cause that I have committed a crime, or that I'm in the process of committing a crime. If you don't have that, then you don't have probable cause. You can't just have reasonable articulable suspicion dangling in the ether. You can't even use probable cause. It's probable cause of what? Reasonable articulable suspicion of what? That's why I hate RAS, because it came from Terry v. Ohio. It spawned Pennsylvania versus Mims. And now you got a lower standard than probable cause. And now they can go, well, we saw you being suspicious. Really, what does that look like? I say you're suspicious. You've suspiciously approached my vehicle with a stupid costume and a gun. I'm suspicious of you. I'm suspicious of you because you might treat me like Philip Brailsford treated Daniel Shaver, or the Glendale Police Department treated Johnny Wheatcroft, or the Arvada, Colorado Police Department treated Johnny Hurley. I'm suspicious of you. And I have reason to fear for my life and fear for my freedom, because you guys have given me reason, because you guys don't do anything when the bad cops, when the bad apples step out of line. Where's all the good? If it's 95% good cops and 5% bad, then why haven't the 95% already moved in and eliminated all the bad? True News says, did you or did you not contract with the DMV agreeing to the rule and regulation of the conduct of the Congress? It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because it's all coercion. It's all lies. If somebody draws up a contract for you and they use deceptive language, it makes it irrelevant, because you know the person who put that contract into place is being a cruddy human being. They've actually violated the most precious rule of existence, and that's the golden rule. They did to somebody else what they wouldn't want done to them. Do we have the right to travel? Yes. Then we should stop calling it the supreme law of the land. Because as far as I'm concerned, the way cops act, the supreme law of the road and the supreme law in the mind of all law enforcement agents that I've seen in this country, the supreme law of the land is traffic law. That's how they treat it. Because they use traffic law as a predicate, as a foundation, as a springboard to take away the rest of your rights. That looks like the supreme law of the land to me in the eyes of the cops, in the mind of the cops. Contract law supersede. If it's an honest contract, there are dishonest contracts. There are contracts that break their own contract because of the language that they use. If you've been coerced, if you've been slighted, if you've been deceived into signing a contract saying, well, this is what we got to do, we're going to do is just go ahead and sign here. Here, I need a real quick signature right here. That's not being honest. What's up, Delete Laws? Delete Laws says, and we'll get back to the video here in a second, it's even lower probable cause to believe, which is like, what the hell is that? Probable cause to believe? I first read that in SCOTUS 1949. Yeah, it's got to be probable cause of something that you can point to that's objective, that any reasonable person, and I kind of hate reasonable because that's subjective. It's like, oh, no, I'm reasonable. I really believe that being parked in front of this house right here, you are about to commit illegal activity. And what is that? What is legality and illegality? We literally live in a land of lies that's bound together by legalese, lying legalese. All right, let's get back to this.
Is your body camera on?
It's on.
Perfect.
It's always on.
And he is your supervisor, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know how far you want to take this conversation, but how many tens of thousands, not hundreds, not dozens, not hundreds, not thousands, how many tens of thousands of laws, specifically in the federal registry, are we all guilty of breaking right now? You don't know. I don't know, because you don't know all the laws, and I don't know all the laws, and the law enforcers and the policymakers don't know all the laws, but they're breaking the laws too, but they don't know it. So when people are like, ignorance is no excuse, well, yeah, it kind of is when you have so many freaking laws, you can't keep up with them, and even the lawmakers and the law enforcers don't even know them. We got a serious problem in this country. We've been over legalized. We've been overlawed.
You see, there's something called an unlawful arrest, and that's where litigation comes in, and you sue the department for an unlawful arrest if they do escalate it to that point, because RAS is the minimum standard that they have to
So it sounds like he's trying to explain this to a passenger that he has in his car
reach before even getting any probable cause. And hopefully they know. I don't know if they know, but we'll see. Maybe lieutenants might be able to educate them if they try to pursue this further.
I'm going to speed this up right here. I want Davenport to come back. Let's see what this little interaction here is with Hill.
In the car.
Suspicious vehicle. Right. That's what.
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
But he didn't. Am I being detained? By the way, let me establish that.
Right now, yeah, we're gonna.
You're detaining me for no
Yes.
crime.
Yep. Because we got called here
I
for
get that.
suspicious persons
But
in a
in the car.
suspicious vehicle. Right. That's why I'm here.
But
in the
no
first
crime
place.
though. Just a suspicious person.
Right,
No
and
crime.
that's what we're figuring out.
But no crime though. Just a
Right.
suspicious
Right now,
person.
there's no crime.
Okay,
Correct.
good. Thank you very much. Make sure this is still recording.
So all we would do now that we've established that there's no crime being committed,
Yes, sir.
because I am conducting an investigation,
Yes.
I have to get information.
I'm not gonna
Did you hear what he just said? Listen to this.
Now that we've established that there's no crime being committed,
Yes, sir.
Now that we have established that there's no crime being committed, you can't even get more clear than that.
because I am conducting an investigation,
Yes.
I have to get information.
Not gonna happen, man.
Okay.
I have to get it. I don't have any other way. I've got to extract your ID from you. I've got to make there's no ands, ifs, or buts. There's no other options. I've got to make you insecure in your person. You have to understand that. We've already established no crime has been committed, but I still have to get your ID. I have to get your ID.
But
Bronx v.
just so you would,
Texas. Bronx v. Texas.
okay, just so you're aware,
Yes, sir.
when I do that,
Yes.
I write it down, it goes in our system,
Yes.
and that's it.
And that's another reason why you don't want to make yourself insecure in your person, because you don't want to be in their database for any reason. As a matter of fact, if we're going to talk legal and illegal, which I'm not for, because these are concepts and constructs of belief, like how can alcohol, for example, during Prohibition in 1920, let's say April 13th, it was completely legal to own, to transport, to sell alcohol. When the clock struck midnight, depending on your time zone, because it was illegal in New York when it was still legal in California. So that's a real mind blower. But let's say it was legal to buy, sell, and transport alcohol, and then 1 second later, it's now illegal. What is that? Is it pixie dust magic? How do you even describe that? Oh, just because a whole bunch of people who call themselves politicians and like to pat themselves on the back and be ruled by AIPAC made this rule. Now we all got to abide by it because that's what people who don't think do. It's truly, we live in a kingdom of lies. It's the empire of lies. I don't even know what else to call it. If you guys can come up with a better phrase, a better term, I don't even know what else to call it. It is an empire of lies. And guess what? Truth is treason in the empire of lies. And the truth tellers are viewed by the Empire of Lies and the Empire of Lies enforcers. Truth tellers are viewed as the enemy. So this guy already articulated, yeah, there's no crime, but I still want to make you insecure in your person. Unfreaking believable that anybody would keep a job doing this kind of garbage.
Nope.
There's no reason for you to even have a CAD number because we're not going to have your information to put in there, and she's not going to give it to you without you verifying who you are.
This is public information, sir.
Okay.
Yep. I've done thousands of.
Thank you very much for becoming a new member, True News. I think True News left another. You know what? I'll go over all the super chats at the end. I don't want to keep interrupting here. I know it drives people crazy.
Public request, Oprah request, okay? This is public information.
All right.
I know exactly how this works, okay? So
Sounds good.
I'm not ignorant.
All right.
And as you can see, I was never disrespectful to
I
you,
know.
right?
Yep.
I just want to make sure we put that on record, okay?
Yeah.
And if you want to lend power to your argument, if you want to lend true, unadulterated, unbridled power to your interaction with these cops as you disagree with their tyranny, be polite. Be even keel. Don't escalate anything. Be the de-escalatory factor because you know they're the escalatory factor. And you have an ironclad. You've made your case as you stand against their unconstitutional laws. And as you make your moral law and your moral point and your moral argument, you've made it even more powerful than it already was.
Cool.
And the reason I say that, and I'm not even saying it's necessary, but because we live in a land where perception is everything, when you handle a tyrant who's trying to attempt to strip you of your unalienable rights, when you meet that force with an even-keeled attitude, a good attitude, a de-escalatory attitude, and a calm demeanor, you show a judge or a jury that you're the one who took the moral high ground in your actions. And it's glorious.
Go ahead.
Erratic driver, South Broadway, and Harris, unladen travel.
All right, let's get back to Davenport because I think this guy's just okay. Davenport makes his call or whatever, and let's check out what Officer Davenport says.
All right.
Am I free to go?
Yep, still detained.
So he's on the horn, and the person on the other end is probably like, yeah, hey, dude, you got no standing. You can't get his ID.
All right, there. I'm not going to resist, man.
You're
You're
good.
going to put me on arrest. Look, here's my hands. I'm not going to resist. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page because
That's,
if
I
an
think
officer
we
tell
are.
me they're going to
Honestly.
pull me out of the car and I just don't want to be, what are we going to do?
Nah.
I'm very respectful. Are we
I'd
okay?
say- yeah. So here's what we're gonna do.
Sure.
Okay. Because I really don't want this massive headache of whatever's going on.
Okay.
So what my thing is
Mhm.
obviously this car's registered in New Jersey, right? So we can pull the registration, see who the RO is, and see if the RO matches your picture in the DMV system.
Public plate.
Now, what would be the reason for him doing this? The LAC audits agrees to this. I wouldn't agree to this. What is he saying? You're going to run my plate, you're going to get my registration, and you're going to go around the back end to make me insecure in my person? What's your probable cause that I committed a crime? What's your probable cause that I even broke one of your traffic laws? What's your problem? Why would you run my registration when you guys have already said that I haven't done anything wrong? I don't agree to this. And for you to do this shows your tyrannical inclinations.
Right.
Does anybody agree with that? Because LAC Audits is going to agree to this. I'm going to play it back. So basically, this guy's going, well, you're not going to give us your ID, but we're going to get your ID. And the way we're going to do that is going to run your plate. Really? Why would you run the plate of somebody? And this, we can have another argument for another day on, registering with the state and all that. But why would you run this guy's plate when you already said he hasn't done anything wrong? You're going to put my name in a database anyway? Every occurrence of your name in a database is not good.
Public
So let me play this back.
Mhm.
obviously this car's registered in New Jersey, right? So we can pull the registration, see who the RO is, and see if the RO matches your picture in the DMV system.
Public plate, right? Public license plate. So yeah, you guys
Right,
have the right
exactly.
to do that.
Okay. So to me, that's the easiest way to resolve the whole matter, and
Yeah, I
just
think so too.
all of us go about our way, right?
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
That work for you?
Yep.
'Cause I don't feel like having to go to this just for a simple little suspicious vehicle investigation.
Yep.
The whole reason why we're pushing it that far is because we literally just had an incident at the school. It's 100 yards away.
Okay.
So that's why we're in the area now anyway. So
the reason he's pushing an incident is because of an unrelated incident that has nothing to do with the person who owns this vehicle. That makes no sense. Hey, the reason we're stopping you today is because last week in the county over, some bad person did a bad thing with X. That's why gun laws are bad. They literally want to ban AK-47s, AR-15s, and high-capacity magazines because some dim-witted, stupid, immoral people decide to use their AK-47s, AR-15s, and high-capacity magazines to hurt other people. And then the politicians, because they want to placate to their constituency, broad brush that and go, well, obviously we got to take the guns of millions of innocent people who have never committed a crime and will never commit a crime. That's the obvious answer, right? It's bizarro world. It is insane to punish this group, this massive group of people over here, because what a handful of people did over here. So that's the same thing this guy's saying. Hey, the reason we're even here, the reason we're addressing this situation, the reason we want to get your ID and go through the back end and get your plate number and then match it up with your ID is because we had an incident at a school. X happened, therefore we've got to do this. Doesn't that make sense? Oh, okay. I didn't know, officer. Thanks for explaining and breaking that down to me. Thank you for being logical. Not.
Listen, I understand that, but anybody who's parking the street doesn't mean they're associated with that incident.
I get it.
Amen.
But at the same time,
Mhm.
we gotta if you gotta get out of here you got here somehow. You gotta get out of here somehow. All I have to do is make sure you got a valid license and you're on your way. So
Not gonna happen, man.
That's freaking BS, man. That gets under my skin so bad. Well, yeah, I get it, but on the other hand, in other words, no, we're going to we are going to commit tyranny and oppression against you right now, and we are going to log your name into our database, whether you like it or not, because we're in control. We get to walk away going, we got his ID anyway.
Not gonna happen. I'm not giving you a license.
This is what I hate about traffic law. This is what I hate about registration. This is what I hate about licenses. Anytime you're talking about license, it's a euphemism for permission slip. A license is a permission slip. A fishing license is you going, government, could I please forage off the rivers? A hunting license, government, could I please forage off the land? Government, can I please have your permission to do something that I have a natural right to do anyway? And that's what government is in the business of, is taking away your rights and then selling it back to you, because that's what you got to pay for a license, right? You're basically paying to get your right back. Well, you got a right to travel. No. You need registration, proof of insurance. You need a license. You need permission from the government, boy. How is that in concert with land of the free? It's not. And it's land of the fee. You're literally having to pay fees so that you can have your freedoms. It's not land of the free, though. It's not home of the brave. You're literally putting yourself in a subservient position going, you're my master, and can I please have permission to drive down the road? Can I please have permission to go into the woods and feed my family? So we have such an upside down world.
Make sure I have a valid license. That is not accordance with the law.
I got your point, but here's the thing.
Sure.
If you drive away,
here's the thing. Here's the deal, and that's why I named this channel. Here's the deal, because here's the deal. Prefaces, I'm about to take away I'm laying down the law, and the law doesn't include you being free. Here's the deal. Here's the thing.
From here, and something happens,
Yes.
we're gonna have to get your license at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you have to have a legal
If something happens, oh my God.
reason to pull me over. And like I told him,
I know. I'm not saying we're gonna sit here and try to pull you. I'm just saying, God forbid, something else happens from now. Got me?
I have a license that is valid and it's legal for me to operate on this roadway. Okay.
All right.
And that's why I have dash cameras, front, back, side to side, to make sure I'm covered.
Right.
Okay.
What makes it
Just
easy,
like how you
better for
guys
you.
have your cameras. too.
Yeah, we gotta
I
have everything
mine
on
too,
camera.
Mine too.
Yep.
So
All right.
I'm not worried about that part.
All right. You have a good one.
I
We're
never
gonna get
said I
out of here.
missed it. Good. All right. Thank you very much, man.
Yep.
I learned so much from you guys. That's a great way to put it. Hold the front. Slippery slope fallacy. It's like we're just giving away. Hey, okay, let's just give away a little bit of our rights so we can obtain some more freedoms. That's why Benjamin Franklin said, hey, if you give away essential liberty, it's like you need liberty to live. You need freedom to live. You need freedom to make money so that you can earn a living, so that you can feed your family, so you can put a roof over their head. You need that. It's essential liberty. But there are those who give away essential liberty so that they can obtain, I just add politically promised security, which never comes. You and I are fools if we give away essential liberty for politically promised security from lying, psychopathic, narcissistic, control freak, megalomaniac psychopaths. Here's the deal. Exactly. Here's the deal equals I'm lying and making stuff up. And if you don't obey my fiction, you're in trouble, buddy. Can you imagine going through life and treating people like cops treat people all the time? I'm going to try to keep this video under an hour. We're at 51 minutes and 16 seconds. I'm going to go over some real quick super chats. Thank you guys for joining. Leon Welch says, Brian, I'm very thankful for all you do. Thank you very much for being a member. If you haven't become a member already, please become a member. Oh, by the way, before I forget, this video comes from LAC Audit. I'm going to let me include the link to this full video before I forget, and I'll try to remember to put it in the description as well. That's for LAC Audit. If you visit him, it's in the chat box right now. If you visit LAC Audit, tell him that Here's the Deal sent you. And the reason I do that, the reason I say, hey, tell him Here's the Deal sent you, is because everybody who's got a platform, I don't care if it's big, I don't care if it's small, I don't care if it's ginormous, we all need to get together and we all need to unite against our common enemy. And our common enemy, by the way, believe it or not, contrary to popular beliefs, and you're going to think, what the heck's he talking about? It's our common enemy is not cops. Our common enemy is not politicians. And kind of in a sense, our common enemy aren't the globalists who control the cops and the politicians. Our common enemy is this idea that there is authority, that somebody is above you and you are beneath them. We've been taught, we're like fish in a fishbowl. All we've known is water. All we've known as humanity, as Americans, is that there's an authority. Somebody has the right to tell me what to do, and they have the right to punish me if I don't do what they tell me to do. And I've got an obligation to obey their rule or be punished. That is lunacy. Tell me, who has a higher claim over your life and over your property than you? Tell me, who is it? And if there is somebody who has a higher claim over your life and property than you, how did they obtain that right? And why don't you have it? And why doesn't your neighbor, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father have it? If they don't have it and it's not legitimate and they've granted it to themselves, that's not legit. Our enemy is the idea that there's this construct of a hierarchy, that these cops are this cop Davenport right here is somehow above you, and that you're somehow beneath him, and that you owe him an answer, and that you owe him your ID, and you owe him the courtesy of getting out of your car and putting your hands behind the back and getting the torture cuffs, as Delete Laws calls them, which I completely agree. Have you ever had handcuffs on? Even if they're loosely fitting, they can hurt you. They can render permanent damage to your wrists. It is torture. It is a measure of torture. It's not like being flayed alive or burned over a pit or anything, or like needles going under your fingernails, but it is a form of torture. So our enemy is this idea, this construct of belief that people have a higher claim over our lives and property than us. And the danger is all these people thinking it's legitimate. Because do you think for 1 second that Davenport would have any power over you if the members of society gathered around your car and go, Davenport, you don't have a higher claim over this guy's life and property than you. Do you think for 1 second, any police, I think we could turn the world around in the next 24 hours if we realize there's no such thing as authority, that it is a superstition akin to believing in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, or the fairy godmother. I think we should look at it as commensurate with the insanity of, don't worry, the tooth fairy is going to get that tooth under your pillow and put a coin underneath while you're sleeping. Yeah, it's not true. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for what you tried to do, but you lied to me. That's what authority is. It's a lie. Nobody's got that higher claim over your life and property than you. And if they did, how'd they get it? I mean, are they something other than human beings? Are they gods? Did Zeus come down from Olympus and bestow this on any? It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. So Leon, thank you very much. Jabro, thank you for the super chat. Oh my gosh, we're gonna hit an hour. I don't want to do that. I already read that one right there. Thanks, True News. Thank you again, True News. Delete Laws weighing in here. True News. Is your ignorance is relevant, but it's also relevant what you're talking about. What ignorance are we talking about? Because all of us are ignorant, okay? Ignorance is not stupidity. Stupidity is being confronted with knowledge or wisdom and then actively moving away from it. We're all ignorant of a lot of things. Does everybody in the room know how to change your oil or an oil filter, or find out where your fuel filter is, or even charge a battery? No, they're not stupid. They're just ignorant. Do you know how to change a flat tire? Do you know how to plug a flat tire? Just in the area of mechanics. No, not everybody knows how to do that. They're just ignorant of it. Ignorance is not stupidity, but there are certain things that you probably don't want to stay ignorant of, or you're going to enter into the realm of slavery. Looks like you got something going. Thanks, True News again. I don't know what's going on here with between you and Delete Laws. True News again. True News. Holy cow, True News. Thank you. I appreciate it. Rights are enforced through contracts. Contracts are implied or expressed in the public domain. I'll have to think about that. Joseph Doe gifted 5 Here's the Deal memberships. I don't know who picked that up, but I really appreciate that, Joseph. VIP Solar Bear 24-hour live stream. No, we're not doing a 24-hour live stream. Steve Harola, what's up? Aloha, man. Much love and aloha. Everyone hit the like. Thanks for that. Oh, that reminds me. Let me also remind you to subscribe to Trump's. Let's see. If you want to get the scoop on Kamala Harris, because we get this C-election process going up. Remember, it's not election, it's a C-election. And even if it was an election process, like Stalin said, it doesn't matter who the people vote for. Every vote is a vote for us. There is a link to Kamala Harris, the Kamala Harris that you never knew. That's my new channel called The Disturbing Illusion, where we expose the left versus right paradigm lie nonsense that keeps people in bondage, this belief, this superstition in government. By the way, government means to control, and government functionaries mean to control you. And when somebody wants to control you against their will, they've committed a crime. So it's a legalized crime ring. Just like they have legalized counterfeiting through the Federal Reserve and the Treasury, this is legalized crime. Leon gifted another Here's the Deal membership. Thank you, Leon. Total Siege. Worst are bootlickers, then behavior is heroic. Yeah, they're not heroes. They're cowards. And you know a person's character when they have the power and they're able to abuse the power, but they don't because they're people of integrity. Or you have the power and then you abuse somebody because you know they're weaker than you, or they're in a position where they can't fight back. They got their hands cuffed behind their back and you kick them in the head. That's a coward. That's a coward. Or you know that you have unlimited resources and manpower and you violate somebody's rights. That person who violated those rights, that's a coward. So my channel is The Disturbing Illusion. I appreciate anybody who subscribes to it and watches a couple videos. BIP Solar Bear says we need a website with links to videos showing examples of why we need police reform, where we can sort by categories. Sober DUI arrests. We could link to this when asking politicians for change. I'm not asking any politician for change. I could care less. Here's what we need to be of the mind of. Just follow me real quick. Okay, we got 30 seconds. We don't need to ask politicians, political parasites to do anything for us. Make all the laws you want. We're not complying because it's not the right thing to do. And if everybody or 30% of the people had that mind, it doesn't matter. Make any law that you want. If there was no enforcer enforcing it, it has no teeth. It's a paper tiger. I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. The price of freedom is now and will always be eternal vigilance. Remember that. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Be vigilant. I'll see you in the next one.